regional tournament, and was able to talk with a lot of his guys, and it's been a really fun time for him and everybody else.
It's now 3-0 Minnesota as Mola drives in another one. Twins keep on rolling. They haven't had a hit yet, but they lead by 3.
Yeah,
6 walks, excuse me, to start the inning.
Yeah, a lot of walks here, 6 already at this point. Talking about that traveling aspect, you could build up points to some Southwest.
Snap throw back, and Devine gets back picked at third for the first out. Nice job there by De La Cerda to connect with RBI Ford at third for the out.
A good snap throw there by De La Cerda.
We also apologize for the brief technical difficulties. 3-0 the score, as Fred Myers takes that one upstairs for a ball. Myers playing second base today. And this is a Twins team that came in really excited ahead of this year's tournament. They never right to be. I mean, last year, after the great improvement they had 2 years ago, they went 0-4 in this event. Last year, 2-0 after day one. They were tied for first. Unfortunately, Saturday pool play games didn't go their way. They dropped to 2-2. Still very respectable for a program that's still growing. And they are so happy because their program has expanded, not just with the All-Stars, but the House League as well, which allows more and more players the opportunity to play baseball and softball competitive level, but also expands their talent pool as well for these All-Star teams so they can make these regional trips and become more competitive as the years go on.
Yeah, it's such an amazing thing for all of these guys to have. I mean, being able to build it up and going from 2-0 to that 2-2 last year. A little bit of defeat, but this year they're still building their programs, still building their softball and baseball programs as a whole, and it's been an amazing process for all of these coaches, all of these athletes as a whole to witness. It's just really giving props to the coach as well, with him being his first regional tournament out here.
Kobe Allen in his first season as the official coordinator for the RBI program and the Twins coordinator for community engagement. As Nicholas Frausto, he's the starting pitcher for the Twinkies. Takes that one and cuts and misses at it. 2 balls, 2 strikes for the team from the Twin Cities. Sanchez is trying to get out of this inning alive at this point. Here's the 2-2, 1 away. That's a wild pitch. Runner coming home. It takes a funny bounce, a slide there, and safe at the plate is Doma, and it's 4-0 Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota, rightfully so, just waiting for their pitches as much as possible. That one just gets away, and they're able to take advantage of that and steal a bag, making it 4-0 Twins.
Wild pitch. Minnesota pulling away in this one early. That's a ball 4 and another walk. 8th walk of the inning for Sanchez out there on the mound. You start to feel for him, and you feel for this Gary team, and you feel for him because that's just got to be such a tough spot to be in, because to be mindful of pitch counts and, you know, players' arms and players' health. And it's just really unfortunate to see just Sanchez having a battle out there all by himself.
Yeah, it's kind of a battle just with himself, trying to figure out the zone, trying to make sure that he's getting one just over the plate. But 8 walks already in the bottom or the top of the first. It's just been a complete struggle for him.
This is Oscar Wardock. He's the first baseman today for Twin Cities RBI, the 1-0. Too high, 2 balls, no strikes. Nowhere to put the runners either. 4 runs across. Wardock, the number 9 hitter, top of the order, is already on deck here for Minnesota in this inning.
Yeah, I start to feel for the kid who's pitching. I mean, I did a few games where I pitched here and there, like when I was in high school and definitely in my house league. And there were definite struggles where I wasn't able to find the zone. So it's a lot of it being a battle with yourself, and sometimes you just have to step off that mound and retreat to trying to get that first strike and building off of that.
And it's 5-0 Minnesota as Wardock gets credited for the RBI bases loaded free pass. And the top of the order comes back up. For Minnesota here in the visitors' half of the first inning. That's going to be all for Sanchez. We'll take a break. 5-0 Minnesota, only one gone here in the top of the first. Welcome back. Here's the reason why we were in such a long delay. So, as many of you know, these kids are all on pitch counts, and the goal of it is to obviously protect the health of the athletes at all costs, even if it means costing a team a win here or there. But it's for the betterment of the young athlete, whether young baseball or young softball player. So Gary, when they went to the pitch and change to Paul Sanchez, they originally put in a player who was ineligible to pitch, as Arellano goes up 2 balls and a strike. So then there was a big discussion then where tournament officials had to come down and inform the umpiring crew and the coach staff that, hey, this pitcher cannot pitch, he's ineligible. They then turn around and try to bring in Darian Wiggins, who was in left field to start the game, as there's an RBI walk and it's 6-0 Minnesota on top. In the process, Darian Wiggins also threw too many pitches yesterday to be able to pitch today. So both pitchers that they originally tried to insert into this ball game were ineligible, hence the longer delay. I don't know if I've seen that before, James.
No, I've definitely never seen that before, but that's why baseball is baseball. You have so many oddities, and it's definitely management where you have to pay attention to those small details that become bigger in the terms of tournament play. So we're back on to having actual baseball being played here as we figure that out with the past 2 pitchers that were supposed to pitch before the pitcher on the bump here being ruled ineligible due towards pitch count.
By the way, Ellis Gorham is the new pitcher on the mound here for Gary. He moved from right field to the mound. We'll try to get you. Gary shuffled up a lot of the lineup because of the information that was given from the officials due to some players' eligibility status and based off of roster and playing time and for a variety of reasons. So we'll try to inform you as we get those changes with you all. Meanwhile, Gorham is the pitcher, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and he hits the batter in Lorine, and that is an RBI hit by pitch, and it's 7-0.
And if you're Gorham on the bump right now, you're kind of just thinking to yourself, I guess got to get 2 more outs in order for this fiasco of an inning to end.
This inning started 30 minutes ago, by the way.
Yeah, 30-minute inning is just not healthy for the pitchers, and everybody being out there for that long. They get very fatigued, and this game is already so opened with the Twins already having such a crooked number and just adding more and more as time goes on.
Luke Dam lays off that one. You know what's the funny thing about this? I don't know if it's funny or it's more so it's just hard for me to comprehend. Minnesota has 7 runs without a hit.
Yeah, 7 runs without a hit, and that just goes to show that Gary's pitching staff is just beating themselves up.
It's really unfortunate.
It is really unfortunate, and it's just one of those games where you just kind of have to look at it and eat it, and it's basically Gary versus themselves at this point because of how many pitches they've thrown, and then the big wait time between the confusion of knowing who's eligible and ineligible, lots of roster spots and different changes within the field.
2-1's foul off, 2 balls, 2 strikes. This is Luke Dam. He's the 3rd baseman. Minnesota has sent, including Luke Dam, now 12 players to the plate to bat here in this 1st inning. Only 1 out here. Bases are full. Now the lineup, Gorham comes home. That's just below the strike zone, and it's ball 3. And let us be known, though, that this should not take away from all the good and the unbelievably awesome story that is Gary Nike RBI and what this program has accomplished in the year 2024. As Dam smacks that one in the air to center field. Smith charging in, loses the cap, makes the catch on the run. Faking the tag there was Werdock, a great cutoff throw out from center field from Emmanuel Smith, and it prevents the run from coming in. And it's 7-0 with 2 outs here in the 1st.
Yeah, one game does not take away what a great program Gary has been, and just the fantastic story of them being in this tournament for the first time. It's going to take some baby steps, just like the Twins had. They going 2-2 this last year. As you can see, other teams such as the Kansas City Royals last year going 0-4. It's a growing process. So it's being that team that's seen as the baby. Or the little brother. It's definitely heart-wrenching at first, but it's also motivational.
Ethan Devine fouls that one off, and it's 1-1. With 2 away, he walked in a run, his first time up, which was earlier this inning. He is the 13th man to come to the plate for the Twins Nike RBI team here in the first. 1-1. Misses high, 2 balls and a strike.
Some people think of the number 13 as lucky, others 7. Other people think of the 13 as unlucky because of Friday the 13th, but today is a Saturday.
It's the 20th of the month as well. 2-2 as Devine takes that one for a strike.
So no correlation on that one.
No. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gorham finally ends this inning. That saw Minnesota score 7 times with 13 batters being inserted into the first inning. We've played half an inning, a half hour in. 7-0 Minnesota Twins Nike RBI on the Windy City Sports Network. We're in the bottom of the first. 7-0 Minnesota here on the Windy City Sports Network. Calvin Malater alongside James Winken would thank you all for being with us. 4th and final game here on WCSN. We have softball still rolling on. About a half hour until the final game of the day. There's still one more softball game to be played left here in pool play as well. I know Gary's softball team and the White Sox softball team just finished a thrilling game over on WCSN. 2 of our friends, Gabby Chernoff and Joey Fear. There's a strike there on the outside corner. Ellis Gorham, who started in right field and finished the half inning on the bump, takes a strike. 1-1, swinging a slapper left side foul. Nicholas Frosto, excuse me. Is the pitcher out there, right-hander. With a 1-2 count. Got him looking. Good curveball there from young Nicholas for strike 3.
Yeah, great delivery by Frosto right there as he's able to just close the door on Gorham. Having a really good outing with that strikeout and a great curveball to just end him there.
Here's Darian Wiggins. He's in left field. He takes that one high. Wiggins got slid over to first because they'll be pitching all the substitutions. Got some misses at that one.
A little bit of a contact swing in Wiggins with that one.
Popped him up. Right side, that's out of play.
I think that one might be the closest one to the press box we've had so far. It's just more so the corner of it though.
Landed on the steps of the press box door. So yeah, in theory that's the closest. There's a line drive, base hit there. Darian Wiggins, despite the score being 7-0, has the first hit of the game for either side.
It's really crazy how that comes to be. I mean, really good contact swing, of course, by Wiggins there as he's able to place the ball in play. On the opposite side, though, Gary pitching staff has given up a lot of walks, so that's why the Twins haven't had any chance to make any contact with the ball, and rightfully so, not needing to.
Emmanuel Smith slaps that one through the hole on the left side for a base hit. Gary Nike RBI, a couple of one-out hits here in the bottom of the first. So now RBI 4, the third baseman steps up. After the quick strikeout there of Gorham, Frosto's giving up back-to-back hits.
We'll see what RBI Forum has in store for us.
There's a strike there from Frosto. And we jokingly said that earlier in the Cubs-Royals Nike RBI battle right before our game hit the airwaves here on WCSN, that you never know what you're going to see when you come to the ballpark each and every day. And that's the beauty of the game of baseball. As a good block there from Lorine behind the dish as the count goes to 2-1. I don't think I've ever seen a game or called a game or been a part of a game in which a team was winning by a score of 7-0, yet they didn't have a hit. And the opposing team was actually out hitting them. Swing and a miss. Snap for down to third, and they throw it away.
Go back.
And now Wiggins was hung up there. He decided to go back. Down 7 runs. They probably wanted to be aggressive, but it's actually probably the safe play in all reality.
Yeah, in all reality, I mean, it's 1 out. You're trying to make sure that you're not that second out and coming closer to finishing off this first frame in the bottom half of the first. But, of course, Wiggins a little bit frozen up as that ball trickles down by the catcher and was overthrown, but he was already made his decision to just stay put at second.
Cut on and miss Ford. Down on strikes, and there's 2 away. As David Padena now will come on up and be the new hitter. The shortstop for Gary. Giving fist bumps to Lorine and our home plate umpire as he steps into the right-handed batter's box. Sees that one bounce in there. We saw Pineda on the bump yesterday for this Gary team. He actually maxed out his pitches through 100 pitches against the Royals Nike RBI side yesterday in the team's opening game in tournament history. 1-0. Pineda cuts through that one, and the count evens out. Good fastball from Frosto.
Yeah, and on the bump, Pineda had a decent outing. Of course, it was unfortunate for them to lose to Kansas City, but those first 2 innings, he did a decent job up until then.
1-1, runner now goes as Lorine couldn't find the baseball. And Wiggins is safe at third.
Wiggins with some heads-up baseball around the base path right there. Not too sure why the person at first didn't travel along with him, but he's playing conservative on the base paths is the best move for right now.
He now goes on the following pitch. It's ball outside, and Smith slides, or I should say glides, into second. 3 balls and a strike to Pineda, with De La Cerda on deck. That's ball 4. So the bases are loaded here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, so Gary trying to get at least 1 run aboard in order to lessen that 7-0 deficit. Good contact hits, and then Pineda is able to come across and board the first base with the bases loaded now with a walk.
Angel De La Cerda, the catcher, ready to go back to work for his first at bat of the game. And he pops up the first pitch straight back behind home. And lands on the roof of the press box in the Granderson suite here. For strike 1. De La Cerda, that had to be a very long inning for him back there behind the dish and all that gear just sitting there, especially for that change as well. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2 on a fastball.
Yeah, and with so many walks, the gear just gets heavier and heavier as time goes on. Of course, thankfully, it's a pretty light day weather-wise, so you don't have to worry too much about the heat. But still, having that gear on, it adds at least 5 to 10 degrees as time goes on.
0-2. Swing and a miss. Took something off of that one, and it was dirty. And it's a scoreless first inning for the Twins Nike RBI team on defense. We've played 1, 7-0 Minnesota. Welcome back. We're in the top of the second inning. And Peter Doma fouls off the first pitch. The home run derby representative for Minnesota in Thursday night's home run derby. Steps in. Gorham zone one misses. All right, so we hope you all at home, if you're keeping score, ready for the list of defensive changes I'm about to give you. So Gorham moves from right to the mound. That happened last inning. Nate George was the designated hitter. He took off the DH spot and went and played right field. That happened last inning as Doma got some misses. It's 1-2. Now prior to this inning, Emmanuel Smith moved from center field to first base. Darian Wiggins moved from left to center, and Angel Segura entered the ball game to play left field. Doma, a little jam piece towards third. Ford charging, can't get the handle on that one, and he's safe at first with an E5. So another base runner here for Minnesota. They're still searching for that first hit.
Yeah, some weak contact there by Doma. He just catches a break, able to make way of that E5. Minnesota is just back where they were before. Still trying to find that first hit, as you were saying, Kevin. But they'll take it no matter what. All they need is base runners, and they just keep scoring.
Call on the courtesy runner there for Doma. As Daniel Mola steps up. RBI walk his last time up. And one's downstairs. And Mola is a really, really cool story for the Minnesota Twins Nike RBI team. And it starts off with his coach is giving him nothing but praises. That one bounces away from the catcher. And that's going to be a wild pitch. And a runner on second base here. For Minnesota in scoring position. And Doma. Here's the 2-0. Lays off that one. Talking to the manager, Kobe Allen, last week, and he talked about Mola's journey from Nigeria, where he only started playing RBI baseball 4 or 5 years ago. He's incredibly fresh to the game, but he's picked it up so quickly. He's got a ton of great speed, and it really, that speed helps him accelerate and help him become a better baseball player because he's able to be a vacuum out there in center field. And more importantly, and the thing that's really more impressive, that's really stood out to him and a lot of the coaches for this Minnesota team, the power in his bat for someone who just picked up the game of baseball and picked up RBI baseball so quickly is really impressive. As I know we haven't gotten to see the pop on display yet because he's walked for the second time just a moment ago. He's on the move here. As the first one misses inside, they're going to try to go a back pick at third, and safe there on the dive.
Yeah, as you were saying, his speed is definitely a key aspect of his game, as you just saw it on display there as he steals second. Also, being a center fielder, speed is the need playing that position, as you have to cover a whole lot of ground.
We have a pinch runner, by the way, at third base for Minnesota. Louis Berthamune out there. 5'8", 125 pounds from Stillwater, Minnesota. Class of 2026. Here's the 1-1. And 1-1 Myers is fouled off. He also walked.
Lots of walks given up in the game. That's going to be the story that is talked about a lot for Gary and their pitcher that started the game.
Here's the 1-2. Ground ball weakly hit to short. Pineda charges his only option is the first. He pumps the throw. He throws back to second. Doma's safe there, or Mola's safe there, excuse me. Berthamune scores. And is likely going to be ruled a hit there. And Fred Myers, I believe, has just given Minnesota their first hit of the game, and it's 8-0 Twins Nike RBI.
So now with Minnesota having one hit, still have a huge lead of 8-0. It's kind of crazy how baseball works in its ways of wonders.
Myers was given a single for that. So there's the first hit for Minnesota as Nicholas Frausto stays in the game. Mola on second, Myers on first. Still no one out here in the top of the second. And a good pitch there from Gorham for a strike.
Yeah, great pitch by Gorham there. He's finally able to get one across.
Downstairs, 2 balls in 1 strike, and that's the almost ironic thing about this is that we saw this firsthand. I mean our Windy City Sports Network audience, as well as myself and Austin Kroom and Ryan Sikora and Tia Reed, and so many members of our Windy City Sports Network team in 2022. Opening game of pool play on Friday. So the format back then used to be the Cubs and Sox would play an opening night game on Thursday in the baseball and softball divisions. Now inside, it trickles away, and I'll see a bases loaded situation opportunity here for Oscar Wardock as Frausto is aboard for his 2nd walk of the game. The 12th walk as a team for Minnesota, and the Twins played Cleveland in game 1, and this was a year that Cleveland ended up going to the final, lost to White Sox, Nike RBI. It was 16-0 in the final, and it was 7-0 after the first inning, and that was the first game of the tournament. So I know it's the roster is heavily turned over since that 2022 team, but the program and the people who have been involved in the program for several years remember when the Twins program was at a point like Gary's was. And obviously not saying that it was Minnesota's first year like this is Gary's, because this is Gary's first regional trip. But in terms of just expanding programs and getting to a point, I think that shows just where programs can go. And Minnesota is clearly heading in the right direction. They're well on their way at this point to a 2nd straight 500 campaign at a regional tournament. Nothing to scoff at whatsoever. And for Gary, this is step 1. Step 1 was getting here, and that's the important thing. That's the toughest part of the mountain to climb for these RBI teams, especially getting to the regional level, is getting to the tournament.
Yeah, it's getting to the tournament, and it's definitely a learning experience. That's step 1, and Gary's going to come back from this definitely and look at the pieces that they have and learn about what they've experienced and use that to their advantage. As for the Twins, as you were talking about that 2022 season, with it being the first game of the tournament and them losing 16-0, it's disheartening, but it's that learning experience from this tournament that a lot of teams discover.
And before day 2 of the tournament, so day 1, the Twins go into, they get run ruled in both games. And this is back in 2022. They had a different coaching staff then. At least the manager was different then. And I asked him, I said, where do you go from here? How do you, and he was pretty openly honest about where the program was at, where he felt his guys were at, and he was up front with us that before day 1, and then after day 1 happened when they went 0-2, I asked him, I said, where do you guys go from here? How do you learn and grow from the experience, and how much of a challenge is it going to be? And he talked about how the youth of the program was the biggest thing, and just how young and inexperienced a lot of the players were in the program, and just trying to build and grow the league and helping figure out ways to grow the game of baseball throughout the state of Minnesota and in the Twin Cities as well. As I have a brief stoppage here as the fans trying to throw a baseball back onto the field from a foul ball. And the Minnesota Twins, the major league organization, has done such a great job. That one gets out of the middle of De La Cerda, and Mola is going to slide across to make it 9-0 Twins Nike RBI. And you can just clearly see just how much the Twins have helped this program grow and thrive, and it's been really cool to see this program grow. And Kobe Allen was talked about how awesome it's been to watch this program grow over the last couple of years. When he's been involved, and he's been able to be the official RBI coordinator this year. And he talked about how awesome of an experience this has been for him and how cool it's been. And he was so thrilled to get to come into this regional tournament this weekend. And right now, like I said, 500 record, nothing to scoff about. They got a tougher draw than I think a lot of teams would. And that's another wild pitch. And in comes Myers to make it 10-0.
Yeah, and this Twins team definitely had a tougher draw of opponents than any other team. Of course, a lot of them roll over and play each other at least one game within this pool play. It's definitely been a lot of a growing experience as lots of these Twins players, some from that old team in 2022, a lot of them being newer guys, and it's been really cool experience seeing how this program has grown and how the Twins organization, as you said, has helped them out with funding and with promoting the program, growing the program, not just with baseball, but also with softball.
And that part's still coming. Right now, obviously, they've only sent baseball teams to the regionals when we've been here. They haven't sent a softball team yet. We don't know what their plans are yet for that. We don't know what's in store for the program, but it's in a phenomenal spot. And if it's in a phenomenal spot now, it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Julian Lorraine, the catcher, and that one goes by him. And it's 11-0 as strolling in as Frausto with another run for Minnesota Twins Nike RBI. And when we talk about tough draws, and granted, in the grand scheme of things, you could look at it and really, Gary's draw was tough. They had a tough draw this weekend. When you look at the programs they had to play and the powerhouses that they got, I mean, was not easy for them whatsoever in year one. And this was going to be an uphill climb once the schedules got released. As that one misses upstairs to Lorraine. They got a Royals team who didn't know really what to expect. Lost 12-3. They got perhaps the second finalists in tomorrow's championship game in Indianapolis. They have the only 4-0 team left in the senior baseball division, and they have this Twins team who had a lot of returning pieces from a team that was hoping to be a dark horse in this year's field as a possible team to get to Sunday as well. And it's one of those things where it's a first-year program, or not a first-year program, first-year trip to a regional, as Ryan works a walk here, first and second, still only one out. But a program that's only existed for 7 years, helping try to revitalize baseball and softball within Indiana, Northwest Indiana to be specific. And I feel like whoever's the first-year team in a regional always has the toughest draw, regardless of however good the opponents might be. They've never faced any of these teams before. It's not like we've seen in years past where Indy and Minnesota have played against each other. We've seen Indy and Kansas City go to battle on several occasions over the last couple of years here at the Chicago Regional, at the Central Regional Tournament here in Chicago. We haven't seen Gary in any of these before, so you never know what to expect. And it's been 7 years in the making, and their softball team is crushing it right now too, which I think even makes the story sweeter. As Luke Dam comes back up. That one's downstairs for ball one. Dam 0 for 1. A walk and a fly out in his 2 plate appearances in the first inning. Gorham comes set, long hold. Lefty fires. In there for a strike.
But just coming back to what you were saying about Gary Cavan, it's has been a 7 years in the making process, and they have been dealt a tougher hand, of course, with the inexperience, but also them not facing a lot of these teams and them seeing a lot of newer faces, newer pitchers, newer hitters, just everyone in general. It's going to be a tough experience, at least on the baseball end of things, but the softball end of things, it's very bright. I mean, they're 4-0, so it shows that as Gary, Indiana promotes both their sides of baseball and softball, it's a very positive outcome to show the growth and definitely feel very hyped up, especially for that softball team as well.
That's strike 3. Gorham, second K of the inning, 3rd overall, and there's 2 gone here in the Minnesota second. And Jason Devine comes on up. Slow breaking ball misses high. Devine walked in a run, struck out swinging to end the first. Two runners aboard right now. Ariano on second, Lorine on first. That's caught on and missed for a strike. It's 2-1. Gorham steps off.
Just trying to reset a little bit here, also with the 2 outs already.
1-1. Swing and a miss. Way down in front of it. One and 2. Downstairs. Devine showing good patience here. Twins so far, and yes, I am telling you the truth, 11 runs on 1 hit. Inside.
Kind of insane how it's only been 1 hit, still dominating this game already with 11 runs.
Gorham set the 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Back-to-back Ks end the inning for Gorham. But Minnesota tacks on 4 more. Twins thanking RBI, leading by double figures here on the Windy City Sports Network. And we welcome you back inside Curtis Granderson Stadium. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Minnesota on top 11-0. I'm Kevin Malater. He's James Winkin. We thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us as we watch some competitive high school baseball here. Minnesota, 11 runs on 1 hit. without an error. Gary, no runs on 2 hits with 1 error so far through an inning and a half. As Zane Smith takes strike 1 and the count evens out. Frosto had a good first inning, gave up a couple of hits. Bases were loaded at one point, but he did a good job working out of it.
Yeah, did a really great job working out of that as the bases were loaded and towards the later end of the first inning.
Smith, George, and due up here. That's on the ground. Backhanded diving stop. Doma got back up. Throw to first. Not in time. Infield single to lead off the second for Zane Smith.
Great contact by Zane Smith over there. Doma struggles a little bit. He's able to corral the ball, but just not in time for the throw. Smith able to make his way safely to first.
Josiah Artest is going to be the man who will bat third this inning. He's going to be a pinch hitter for Gary in a moment, as Nate George, the right fielder, will come on up and bat for the first time. He originally was the DH, but due to all the changes, he had to go out and play his position and play right field. 1 ball, no strikes, excuse me. Got on a miss. Good curve there. Frosto's done a really good job balancing his pitches.
Yeah, definitely a great job by Frosto there. He's able to balance his pitches really out well. The first pitch was a fastball and a curve.
We're on the move. Throw down to second on the swing and miss. And he is safe. Stolen base for Zane Smith.
Zane Smith just gets in there just enough. Trips up a little bit along the base path, but able to get into second base.
Two. Downstairs.
Zane Smith is really great around that base path as he's able to steal a lot of bags.
Hard hit grounder to first. Wardock has it squirted through his legs and into right field. And now it gets by Ariano as well. In to score Smith from second. George to second base himself. They trade places. And Gary's on the board for a run. It's 11-1.
George able to catch a really good break right there. He looks to be like an easy out to the first baseman. Goes underneath his glove, and he's able to turn that air into good old having him at second base.
Fouled off there. Like I said, pinch hitter here. Josiah Artest. This was Angelis De La Cerda spot in the lineup card. Cut on a miss. Runner going for third. Throw from a knee on the line. Did he? Yes, he did. Great throw from Lorine to get George out at third, and there's 2 gone.
Ryan with an amazing throw to third base as he gets George quick and easy and done just like that. It's kind of like ripping off a Band-Aid.
No, misses up. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out, or 1 out here. I beg your pardon, not 2 outs. Yes, Frosto comes home with the 1-0. Swing and a miss. That's strike 3 on a pitch in the dirt. Lorine scoops it up and flips it on over to first for the second out of the inning. So the top of the order will come on up. And it'll be Ellis Gorham, the pitcher.
I thought that was the 3rd out. It's only the 2nd though. He had a really good play. Those last 2 outs. First one thrown to third and throws the runner out, and then the second one strikeout and able to throw him out on the drop third.
1-0. Big cut there on a good fastball. Count goes to 1-1. Frosto trying to work out there. That one's cranked down the right field line, but it's foul. That run we judged on earned or unearned depending on the rest of this inning goes. As it stands, it's an unearned run for Frosto. 1-2. Tap weakly towards the first base dugout, and Gorham stays alive. Good battle here, Foreman.
Yeah, Foreman's able to get some good contact, just foul. Been a little bit early on those past 2 pitches.
1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that will end the inning. But Gary gets on the board, the Nike RBI team from Northwest Indiana. That's the deficit to 10. 11-1 Minnesota. 3rd inning up next. Top 3 and a pinch hitter has entered the ball game here for Minnesota. As that one's called for a strike. Berthemune, who came in as a pinch runner for Doma on the base paths his last time up, now gets a chance to swing it himself.
Berthemune has some really good rhythm to his stance.
2-2. Lays off that one. Good discipline as well at the dish.
You think that rhythm and discipline kind of correlate to one another within the batter's box?
I think there's a shot. I'm sure probably most hitters will tell you that it does more so than not. As he works a walk here to lead off the 3rd inning.
I know that there's some notable names that kind of show off that rhythm more than others. There's others that are definitely more stiff when it comes to that, but it all just depends on what kind of makes them more relaxed and helps ease up their tension as they see it pitch by pitch.
Speaking of players we've had in the tournament the last couple of years, I know we were talking about that in the last offensive inning for Minnesota. This is a man who's stepping into the box who has been on our broadcast the last 2 years in some form with the Twins Nike RBI team, as that's a wild pitch, and Berthemune glides into second base. Ezra Kuznia is pinch hitting. He's a 6 foot, 170 pounder, class of 2024 out of St. Agnes High School out in Minneapolis. Right-handed hitter. He throws with his right as well as Kuznia fights off that one and jams it up, and the 2 infielders collide. It'll be the shortstop Pineda who makes the catch. Thankfully, both him and Zane Smith are okay, as Kuznia is a pop-out victim here for the first out of the 3rd. That was scary.
Yeah, a little scary there. Both teammates collide as they both willingly give up their body to try and make sure that the ball is secure in either or of their gloves. Pineda makes sure that he's the one that comes up with the baseball. It's a little bit of a twister, as you would say. Kind of spin around together.
Fred Myers back for his 3rd trip. RBI singles last time. That's another wild pitch, and Berthemune to 3rd.
Some good running by Berthemune right there, as he just is able to make sure that his head stays up and looks at the pitch, it being a wild pitch and going from 2nd to 3rd.
He scored in both times he's reached base today. Myers has. Here's the 2-0. Tap foul. And the Twins don't have a traditional hit still. It was that infield single, if you recall. That was debated for a brief moment in the press box before they gave him the benefit of the doubt and gave him the single.
Yeah, still no technically real hits except for that single that was discussed in the press box. Twins still looking for one, either being a ground ball out or into the outfield as well.
Safe there on the back pick, by the way, is Berthemune. 3-1 is the count to Myers with 1 gone here in the visitors' half of the 3rd inning. 11-1 is our score. Final game of pool play across the entire senior baseball division. Gary already eliminated from tournament championship contention at 0-3. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Myers grounds it foul into the 3rd base dugout. And a nice play there made by Nicholas Frosto in the on-deck circle to snag it.
A little bit of a PFP as he actually works his way on the batter's deck.
3-2. Slow curve, and Myers has worked himself a walk for the 2nd time in 3 appearances.
Just wasn't able to paint that corner on the outside portion of the plate.
Frosto has walked twice for Minnesota. The Twin Cities starting pitcher tonight, officially 0 for 0. That's ball 1. Minnesota open up this game with a 7-run first inning on 9 walks and a hit by pitch. They did not have a hit until the 2nd inning, as that one's a good block there by De La Cerda behind the dish.
Yeah, great block there by De La Cerda, making sure that the ball doesn't trickle on by, and the Minnesota Twins scoring another run.
Myers increases his lead off of first. Gorham sets. They will check down the runner at first, and safe there is Fred Myers. His last trip on the base paths, he was on second base following a Frosto walk. A pair of wild pitches allowed him to come in and score. 2-0. Frosto is down and away. And it's a 3-ball count. Oscar Wardock, first baseman, on deck. It's a 4-pitch walk for the pitcher. That's his 3rd walk of the game on the offensive side of things. And so for Oscar Wardock now, an opportunity here to bounce back. Did have the error the last half inning. Struck out looking in that frame as well. Wardock has driven in a run via base on balls. I think would love to do it though with the bat this time. Gorham's had troubles finding the strike zone here in this last sequence of events. Back pick there and safe. At third. Nice shot by Ford, sneaking around the runner. Just couldn't handle the bouncing biscuit that was heading his way.
Yeah, this inning for the Twins definitely seems a little bit kind of similar to that first inning with a lot of walks given up. They're definitely trying to find the pitch to hit, but there's not really many in the zone. They're taking a lot of them.
2-0 is the count with 1 away. And he's thrown 7 straight balls. All right, Jay, that 8 straight balls if you go back to the at-bat with Fred Myers. The Texas A&M fans in Omaha were doing the ball 4 chant. 3-0. There's a strike for Gorham. And it's 3-1.
Yeah, that's a classic chant with the Texas A&M fans. They always are chanting on as pitchers throw a lot of balls. They start off with ball 4, and then if they go consecutively, then they go ball 5, ball 5, and then
It would stop though, because Gorham's got 2 straight strikes here, 1 looking, 1 swinging. Here's the 3-2. There's a slow breaking ball that never had a shot to challenge the strike zone. And it's an RBI walk for Wardock, and it's 12-1 Minnesota. RBI bases loaded walk. And the top of the order's back up here for Twins Nike RBI.
you know, Minnesota is so cold, but they're just heating up on the side of plate discipline.
Yeah, they really are. That's a wild pitch. Runner coming home and safe there, and they throw it away. Here comes Frosto trying to score from second, and he's out. Heads up defense there. Great job backing up the play by Zane Smith. He was the second baseman. So it's 13-1 as the run scores there on the wild pitch from Myers. Frosto's cut down on a 4-1 putout.
Yeah, some good heads-up defense there by Gary as they're able to make sure that Frosto doesn't score in from second to home. It's a really good gutsy run though by Frosto, thinking that he was able to make it underneath the tag, but able to pick themselves up and throw him out at home.
2-0. Mariano cuts and misses. It's 2-1. 13-1 is our score. Two outs here in the inning. And one bats it in there. Three-one count. Here's the pitch. That's ball 4, and the leadoff man is aboard yet again. 4 walks in this game for Ariano. And they're on the corners here for the Twins for Julian Lorine, and that's going to call a meeting of the minds and a mound visit and a call to the bullpen here for Gary. So we'll take a break here on the Windy City Sports Network. Welcome back, and the first batter and the first pitch that RBI Ford throws hits Julian Lorine, and the bases are loaded again. Couple of changes here for Gary defensively. We'll get you those in a moment, as Luke Dam takes that one upstairs for a ball. So Ford is now the pitcher. The shortstop, Pineda, moves from short to third to take Ford's spot. St. Smith was at second. He slides over to short. Wiggins moves from the mound to second base, as there's a cut and a miss there, 1-1. Emmanuel Smith goes back out into the outfield, and Ellis Gorham goes to play first base. 1-1 with 2 away. Here's the pitch. That one hits him as well. And it's another run from Minnesota. It's an RBI hit by a pitch, and it's 14-1. That one just grazing the jersey of Luke Dam.
And if your RBI form right here, it's one of those instances you got to talk with your catcher right now, because hitting back-to-back players is not where you want to be, especially on just those first 2 pitches.
So Devine is the new batter, and that one hits the home plate umpire square in the mask, and there's no advancement from any of the runners.
So instead of the batter, the ump gets hit. Lots of people getting hit, unfortunately, in these past 3.
That's a wild pitch. Runner coming home, and he is safe. Sliding in under the tag was Ariano, and it's 15-1.
Ariano with some hustle there. He's able to get in safely under that tag. And the Twins still looking for a real hit here, and not really needing it because of how many pitches they've been able to take, whether it's been getting hit by pitch or with the amount of walks.
Another wild pitch, and no one's covering the plate. Did he get him? He did. Nice job. De La Cerda did it himself when no one's there to back him up. And that will end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the third. It's 15-1 here on the Windy City Sports Network. Welcome back. Bottom of the third inning, and Fred Myers center the game to pitch. Frausto goes over to play second base. A couple other changes we'll get to as well. And the first pitch coming is by Darian Wiggins. 2 innings of 1-run baseball for Nicholas Frausto. It was an unearned run as well. Eric Kane has entered the game to play first base for Minnesota. Oh, this is high. Ezra Kuznia has entered the game to play, has remained in the game to play center field. That one misses inside. And Bartholomew stays in the game to play shortstop.
Great outing by Nicholas Frausto. 2 innings of work, 1 unearned run. Everything was going well for him in those 2 well-performed innings.
Wiggins had the first hit of the ball game actually in the bottom of the first, believe it or not, as the 2-2 comes in. And the believe it or not part is in reference to the fact that the score was 7-0 Minnesota by the time he came up to bat for the very first time today.
Yeah, it's a little bit bizarre having the team that is demolishing you not have any hits to their name in that first half of the inning. And when you're Gary, you have 1 hit to your name in that.
3 balls and 2 strikes. That one is on the ground left side out of play. Wiggins singled his last time, like we said. Emmanuel Smith on deck as well. That's ball 4 on a wild pitch. Wiggins hustling, but he'll stop there at first. He's aboard for the second time in as many plate appearances, as Emmanuel Smith will come up for his second go around.
Some really great hustling by Wiggins there.
Smith singled, stole a bag his last time up, was stranded at second. That one's in there for a strike. A 1. That one misses high and upstairs. Indy, by the way, won that 3rd game they were playing, that final game. As Smith slashes that ball to the opposite field. That's down in left center for a base hit. Wiggins around second on his way for 3rd, and it's a double there for Emmanuel Smith. They're both in scoring position and no one out here for Gary and Nike RBI in the 3rd.
Yeah, Wiggins and Smith again back on base, just like they were in that first inning. A really great hit by Smith as he's able to put it into that left center gap, ruling him down for a double.
2 in scoring position for Ford, who's now the pitcher. There's one just missed below the zone. So Minnesota has to hold Gary to 2 runs or less in this inning and in next inning if they do not score any more runs. If they want to finish in 4. 15-1 is the score right now, which means they're up by 14. The run rules are 15 after 3, 12 after 4. They'd clear the 12 after 4 part as long as Gary does not score more than 2 runs across the next 2 innings of play. That's also score 2 runs across the next inning of play with the assumption that Minnesota doesn't score any in the top of the 4th inning, because we're guaranteed to play a 4th inning at the very least here.
Yeah, guaranteed to play a 4th inning at the very least. The Twins are definitely able to be very disciplined at the plate, so we'll see how that top of the 4th comes up to be. Defensively, they have to stop Gary from scoring any more runs in order to end it in the 4th in general. But it's all just a whole defensive and kind of waiting game for Minnesota now.
Slow curve, just missed off the plate. The count goes to 3-2. And James, let's say you're an outfielder on a Minnesota team. You played outfield for such a long time. Let's put you in the shoes of one of those 3 Twins outfielders right now. As the 3-2 comes in, inside corner, just missed, ball 4. Didn't miss by much. How do you remain focused out there?
Yeah, definitely remaining focused out there. It's a whole rhythm. When I was out in the outfield, I would usually creep up, usually doing a 1-2 step when the pitcher was kind of in his windup and about to toss. Then I would I would drop step just in case the ball was hit, and that's where I would just keep going with that rhythm and also just shuffling around. As you see, a lot of these outfielders, they do shuffle around, a lot of movement with their arms. For Smith, they had to be really ready in that one, as that one was put into that left center gap. So definitely lots of rhythm that they have to use.
But is it tough to stay focused though? Is it truly as hard as it looks right now when you're sitting here and you're up by 14 runs in the 3rd inning?
Yeah, I think that it's a little tough to focus. Definitely when you're in the driver's seat by so many runs, you get a little cocky here and there. But you just have to remember that, especially, it's a routine. You have to put yourself into perspective that even though you're winning by a lot or losing by a lot, a ball's going to come to you at some point. So you always have to be ready.
Here's the first pitch now to David Pineda after the last one was waved off. So there's strike 1. Next offering on the way, inside corner taken. It's 0-2.
Definitely the center fielder comes into mind that you see swaying here and there just to make sure that he has a little bit of movement, and that's kind of how you just make sure that you're paying attention to the game and don't cost any more runs.
1-2. Still nobody out, bases full. Myers in a bit of a jam here. He's got a very comfortable cushion to work with. 2-2.
Yeah, very comfortable cushion to work with. If you're Myers, I'd say just attack the zone. Being up so high, even though bases are loaded and runs may come out of that by attacking the zone.
That one missed. I don't know where it missed though.
Not too sure exactly where that one missed. It may be a little inside, I guess. Not quite too sure.
It looks like a cross pretty clearly over here from our angle up here. 3-2, and there's ball 4, and that's a run. That's unfortunate for Myers. From our angle up here, it looks like he got squeezed there on the last call, and fortunately he doesn't execute the next pitch, and he gives a walk and a run.
Yeah, but at this point, I mean, you're up so much already, as just attacking the zone is definitely going to benefit you. Even if the ball goes in play, that's where you wake up the defense and make sure that they're in check.
Ball 1 to Angel De La Cerda. He's the catcher for Gary. Kick and the 1-0. Tap to the right side, and that will be touched down there in foul territory. La Cerda 0 for 1. He struck out swinging back in the 1st inning. That was the final out of said inning. All in all, that was a 45-minute first inning from start of the top half of the first to the end of the bottom of the first.
Yeah, very long first inning indeed. Also including all of the pitching changes and just a lot to deal with. A bit of management and a little bit of confusion there. Walks definitely played a huge role in that as well from both sides.
2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Myers and company still searching for that first out.
Yeah, it seems like Myers is getting a little bit of his own taste of medicine, kind of what Gary's pitcher had in that first inning.
That one downstairs. 3-2 is the count. Smith on third, Ford on second, Pineda on first. This is going to be, the runners will go here on the pitch, more than likely. However, there's not 2 outs, so you never know.
Yeah, never know, especially when there's no outs here. They might just stay put a little bit, but I mean, it is 3-2.
On the ground to third, that's a foul ball.
Twins catch a little bit of a break there as the ball goes foul. Don't know if he would have fielded that. Kind of just laid off, made sure that it was foul.
Two. On the ground at third, Dam charging. He'll come home with it. Low throw, and it is dropped. Safe at the plate is Smith. It's 15-3 on an E5. Oh, it was a gimme out there at the force out at home plate.
Yeah, very much so. Give me out. I mean, E5 is unfortunate there. He has the ball, throws it, and it's just a low throw. Catcher isn't able to secure it whatsoever.
Kobe Allen's going to make a move here to his bullpen, and we'll make a move towards the commercial break. 15-3. Gary getting one back. Still the bases loaded. No one out here. Bottom 3, back in a moment. No one out. New arm into the ball game here for Minnesota Twins. Nike RBI, and a first pitch breaking ball misses down and in. Zane Smith is the hitter. And the new pitcher for Minnesota is the left-hander Jonas Sadowski. Sadowski behind 2-0. Another one of those pick-to-click guys for Kobe Allen. That's a ball, and it's 3-0. Twins pitchers having trouble with strike zone location right now.
Yeah, a lot of balls been thrown by these past two Twins pitchers up on the bump.
Bunt, squares, pulls it back, gets strike one.
Thankfully, their first pitch strike. Able to get one across.
Here comes the 3-1. Cut on and miss. Good curve there from Sadowski. I'm off balance. And it's 3-2 here. Twins, Nike RBI still searching for that first out here in the inning. And Smith spoils that payoff offering.
Gary's coach, third base coach, is able to come in there with a little bit of a snag. Seen a decent amount of coaches with some good snags.
Great hands on display there from the coaching staff. Nice job here by Zane Smith, by the way. He's fought off a couple tough pitches as well.
Yeah, Smith is able to just keep himself alive here. Good cuts and little foul tips here and there.
3-2. Fly ball to left. Divine underneath it. He makes the catch. Tagging from third, comes forward. Throw to the plate will be cut off, and then they try the relay late. The ball's dropped there by Lorine, and the other two runners tag in the process, so it's 15-4. Gary and Nike RBI inching their way back in this one. A crooked number here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, a great sac fly right over there. He's able, left fielder is able to secure the baseball, then gets cut off. Eventually the ball gets thrown to home, but a little bit too late.
First pitch swinging is Nate George, and it's down for a base hit. Into scores Pineda. De La Cerda on his heels behind him. It's 15-6. George an RBI double, and he drives in two.
George with a great piece of contact there. He's able to get that one to land, stick the landing, as he's able to drive into and get to second base.
Well, this has become interesting because now they're within 9.
Yeah, Gary's been inching away and fighting in this specific inning, putting out 5 already with only 1 out.
Mind you, it was 15-1 when we started the inning, in the bottom half of the inning.
Twins pitching staff kind of struggling to find the zone a little bit, or when they do, just a lot of hits so far, so runs being given up by both past pitchers.
0-1. There's a drive down the left field line, and that's a fair ball. It gets by Divine and rolls all the way to the corner. In to score is George, racing towards third. Goes Artest, throw there, he is out. But I'll drive in a run, it's 15-7.
A really great contact as he's able to get one into the left field corner. Third base coach runs him all the way to third, sends him all the way to third. A little iffy of a decision there, as the ball was already in the infield as soon as he was getting about halfway from second to third.
Popped up, that's foul towards the left side. Gorham is the top of the order man, is the ninth guy to come to the plate this inning. 15-7. Ground ball weakly left side. Sadowski to a knee, gets back up, lobs it over, and he's safe. They say that Kane came off the bag. And Kobe Allen's going to come out here, and I think he's going to try to ask for the two umpires to get together and discuss the call.
I think he's going to go ahead, talk with the second base umpire, and they're going to have a ump meeting to see if Gorham was really safe. Gorham actually thought that he was out, and in a little bit of frustration there, took his helmet off. Kind of was about to head into his own dugout. They call him safe, a little surprised there. We'll see on the final decision between the umpire conference.
And the call stands.
The call stands. Gorham stays at first.
So an infield single there for Gorham, his first hit of the ballgame after starting off 0 for 2 with 2 punch-outs.
Has some great hustling down that line as he's able to be called safe there.
Now they have Gorham caught up. Sadowski flips over to Kane. Kane tracking him down, flips it over. Tag there from Frausto, and that'll end the inning. So a 1-3-4 pickoff there, and that will retire the side. We'll go to the 4th inning, 15-7. How about Gary Nike RBI? A 6th spot in the home half of the 3rd. Top of inning number 4, another pinch hitter into the game here for Minnesota, and a strike is called. 15-7. This is KJ Erb. And he takes that one just off the plate. He's batting in place of Devine here in the 4th. Big swing there. Yeah, it's 1-2. Nike RBI is out hitting Minnesota in this ball game, and they're losing by 8 runs.
Yeah, a lot
It's
of
one of those stats that you just kind of scratch your head at.
it's one of those stats where you're going to look in the box score later tonight, and if this score stands, you're going to really think to yourself, why is Gary have so many hits and the Twins don't, yet the Twins won by so many.
And granted, it was a questionable hit. I mean, that hit could easily be go back, and they could easily review that an error as well. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at right now a no-hitter for Gary.
Yeah, which is really weird to think about if that was to be a no-hitter with all of these runs on board. And
called strike 3. Herb is sat down looking.
But that's where you think to yourself and saying, okay, it's definitely having to eliminate the walks, and the walks have just been a huge problem earlier in the game. But I mean, as the game progresses, Gary's hitting has gotten really well. They're able to get a 6th spot in that later half of the 3rd, and then also pitching-wise, of course they've given up some 4 spots, but the crooked number in the 7 is what's been really hurting them.
Earthimune takes that one off the plate for ball 1. And there's a strike. Walked and scored last inning as the leadoff man. One on one. Goes to 2-1. Ford sets, righty fires. Weak tapper, and that will be touched on foul by De La Cerda. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 gone here in the visitors' half of the 4th inning. A 8-run advantage right now for the Twin Cities RBI team. And that one misses away.
Yeah, and the Twins looking to build even more on this lead, trying to see if they're able to make this game as short and sweet as possible. But Gary, Indiana, they came to play, and they're still sneaking on by.
Roller up on the first base line, and it's touched on foul.
That one really could have gone either way. It just splits hairs down the line and is able to get ruled as a foul ball.
Popped up left side. Pineda backpedaling, and he makes the catch for the 2nd out. Well, things just keep getting more and more interesting here.
Yeah, very interesting as Gary is able to come up with 2 quick, easy outs. Simple pop fly. Pineda is able to backpedal on that one and easily catch it. The one thing that you got to be careful of course, is that turf monster, and we've seen a few players get eaten up already in this tournament from that.
Kuznia came in last night as a pinch hitter, popped out to short. Was the first out of the frame. He goes up 2 balls, no strikes. Ford hasn't challenged the strike zone through 2 pitches in this AB. Veteran of this team. Understands the RBI program very well. Trying to help bust this one open again and close things out. Twins Nike RBI led by as many as 14 runs in this game. Leads now down to 8 after a strong 6-run 3rd inning for Gary Nike RBI. Here's the 2-1. Kuznia swinging, and he fouls it off.
Yeah, in a baseball game, usually you think of it as being very low scoring. This seems to be kind of like the first half of a basketball game, a little bit, with a score of 15-7.
I was thinking football.
A little bit of football too. You got yourself a touchdown, and then a touchdown, and
touchdown, field goal, and a safety, or
2 touchdowns,
or you go for 2.
Point, yeah.
I like the touchdown, field goal, safety idea.
That's a good one, yeah.
I like
The rarity of the safety as well.
exactly, as Kuznia works a full count walk with 2 away. I mean, I think that idea would fit perfectly in with this account on Twitter called Sickos Community, which they just do that, where they follow like college football or college sports, run around the move, pitches away for a ball, and the throw down a second, skips in there, and it bounces in and out of Smith's possession, and Kuznia has a stolen base. They're a big fan of mid-major sports as well, because just a lot of crazy stuff happens in mid-major athletics, as you and I both very well know, and a lot of crazy stuff happens in high school athletics as well. Like I said, this is a 14-run game at one point. Gary's made this a ball game here. 1-0, and now they have Kuznia caught up. Ford's going to run at him. Throw to third. He is out, and that will end the inning. Kuznia got a little too aggressive. And heads-up defense by Gary Nike. RBI makes him pay. We are the last of the fourth. Gary has some newfound momentum. Only down by 8 on the Windy City Sports Network. Welcome back. We're in the bottom of the fourth inning, and we have a very important scoring update for you. You're going to get for those of you who love baseball, you're going to really enjoy this one. So earlier in this game, there was a hit from Fred Myers, a little in-betweener that probably an out should have been made but wasn't, but it was a very close play. Myers was hustling. It was a tough play for Fred to make. Originally, the discussion was RBI single, but we have just been informed during the break that it's actually an error. So right now, Minnesota has 15 runs on 0 hits.
That's a crazy stat that you just bring up, Kevin. Having 15 runs on 0 hits is very unheard of in the game of baseball. Usually when there's a no-hitter, you have an egg and another egg right by each other because you have 0 runs, 0 hits. But not in this case. I mean, the score is the way it is because of how many times there have been wild pitches, getting walks, and also just getting hit by pitch by a lot of Twins players within Gary's pitching staff.
We got a new pitcher, so we'll go to a break. 15-7, Minnesota on top. New pitcher for Minnesota, the fourth man on the bump. KJ Erb moves from left field to the pitch, and Jonas Sadowski goes back out to left field in this one. And that is downstairs for a ball. Emmanuel Smith doubled and scored his last time up. The line scores so far as Erb checks over. Gary, Nike RBI, the home team, with 7 runs on 7 hits. And on the offensive side of the ball, 1 error, or 2 errors, I should say. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, 15 runs on no hits with 2 errors defensively.
Yeah, and as you can see, there's 2 sides of this story, with Gary being able to make a lot of contact with the ball, but it all levels out to only 7 runs, versus Minnesota making absolutely 0 contact with the ball. A few balls in play here and there, but nothing to count as a hit. Still up by a huge margin here.
This would be a first for me.
Yeah, I think it would be a first for many to see a no-hitter with having 15 runs on the board. Of course, it's still a little too early to tell.
Three and 2 with no one out. That one inside for a ball, and the first 2 are aboard here for Gary, Nike RBI.
And the offense just kind of keeps on going with what they were doing in that last half of the inning. They were able to get on base very quickly.
So now here's RVA Ford. Opportunity here. They could really make this a ball game with 1 swing of the bat.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, this game it's still within reach.
One swing of the bat with a little help from the wind, and the baseball gods, they're within 5.
Yeah.
That's doable. But with a couple innings to play, that's doable for sure.
Yeah, very much so doable, with it being 1 swing of the bat.
That's on the ground at third. Dam takes it to himself across the diamond. His throw is low, and unable to pick it there is Kane. That's the first out. Out on the play is Wiggins. He was the lead runner on the force out there.
He still thinks that he's safe.
It was a force out. Yes. Dam made a nice play there at the bag. So fielder's choice there. That sees forward reach.
You know, this kind of crossed my mind, Kevin, a little bit ago, but I know that the Twins, they have a mascot of their own in a bear. Kind of wondering, what would Gary's mascot be?
Strike there. To David Pineda. Oh, 1. Strike 2. And here's also where it gets tricky, because I've just realized this right now. We have surpassed the 2-hour mark in this game. So what do they do from here?
Yeah, from this point on, I'm not really sure exactly if you just let the kids play, because of even though within the rule book it says 2-hour time limit, and usually you just have stoppage after that. These 2 teams aren't going to be in the championship game, unfortunately. So it's one of those instances where you're like, do you just keep kind of letting it play on as Gary is able to possibly get more and more runs, and this game becomes closer and closer, or do you just stop it after this last half of the inning?
I'm sure they're having that conversation right now with the tournament officials. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the count to Pineda. Walked in a run his last time up. He hasn't had an official at bat today, and look at him fight here. 2 walks on the day. He's got a run scored as well. if they call it here, Gary's throwing a no-hitter without realizing it.
Yeah, and it would be such a rarity for that to happen, especially how many runs they've had.
And they hits them, the bases are loaded.
And just like the inning before, bases are loaded for Gary, Indiana. They're able to make way of just the pitching mishaps of Minnesota.
De La Cerda comes up, bases juiced, 1 out. Bottom 4. And Kobe Allen going back out there to the mound. Ever since he took out Frosto, he has pretty much had an impossible time finding outs. And you almost wonder if he pulled the play a little bit too soon for their sake, because they've struggled to find strikes since they pulled him out after 2 innings of work.
Yeah, after 2 innings of fantastic work by Frosto, it's just been a nightmare of pitching for the Twins, as they've already given up 6 in that 3rd inning, and kind of flirting with giving up a little bit more in this bottom half of the 4th. So we'll see how management is able to coincide with their decision of pulling Frosto out after those last 2 innings, or first 2 innings, excuse me.
So Herb does not record an out, and Devine will come into the game, and we'll go to a break. 15-7 with 1 out here on the Windy City Sports Network. Fifteen to 7 is our score, as Jason Devine into the game to pitch, bases loaded, 1 out. Swing and a miss. Much needed strike there. Herb just got a 3rd of an inning accomplished. He's responsible for all 3 runners on base. De La Cerda, the hitter. No balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Fouls it off. Nice job there.
De La Cerda able to get a little piece of contact, playing a bit of protect.
Swing and a miss. The batter's out. There's 2 gone. So Zane Smith comes up. And a strike there from Devine. Smith with the sac fly his last time up, singled and scored in the 2nd as well.
Devine having a lot of control.
Smith floats that one in a shallow left center. That's a base hit. In to score, Smith. Ford gets held. However, no one was there covering 3rd base. He trips and stumbles with the turf monster in effect, and he ends up stopping at 3rd. It's 15-8, gives Zane Smith an RBI single, and Gary's not done yet.
Smith able to make a really good contact with that, poke it out into the shallow center field. Make sure everybody goes station to station. Still have All ducks on the pond.
First pitch strike there to Nate George Jr. 15-8 here. Ford on third, Pineda on second, Smith on first. 0-1. Foul back. We're at the bottom of the fourth, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Gary has scored 7 unanswered runs in this game. Foul ball.
Yeah, and hitting-wise, it looked like the Twins were going to be in that driver's seat. Even though they have no hits at the moment, they're still very disciplined on that plate and driving up a lot of walks, getting hit by pitch, and lots of passed balls from that pitching staff.
Popped him up. Right side, foul to ground. And that one hits the top of the netting, and it's a foul ball.
And the baseball gods able to direct that baseball right into the netting, giving a little bit of a break for the Twins, or for Gary, excuse me.
Yeah, this is, I mean, this game, score of this game when we entered the bottom of the third was 15-1 Minnesota.
Yeah, no, I mean, we thought that it was just going to be all one-sided, not much hitting for Gary, but they've turned the page, and it's with that 6th spot, it definitely helps them out. And it doesn't seem like their job is finished anytime soon.
0-2. High fly ball, right field, down the line. Arello giving chase. It lands in the berm.
Just a little early on that swing. Really great power there, though.
Just missed. 2-2.
This has just been a battle. He's able to knock some foul and then waiting for his specific pitch, that one outside.
2-2. Just missed again. It's full.
Really great discipline.
Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Here's the pitch. Runners on the move. He pops this one up. Left side of the infield. Dam calls it. He makes the catch, and that will end the inning. That will also do it. So Minnesota wins it 15-8. Gary Nike RBI, as it stands, has just thrown a no-hitter.
Yeah, a very bizarre no-hitter with a very bizarre scoreboard and a very bizarre loss to their name. I mean, the pitching staff, even though they were awarded a no-hitter, still gave up 15 runs on a lot of pass balls, a lot of walks, and a lot of hit by pitches. As for Minnesota, you have to be taking a little bit of a breath of fresh air as they were able to come up victorious, but not without a lot of a fight from Gary's offense.
Heck of a fight there from Gary Nike RBI down the stretch. Minnesota, 7-run first really set the tone for them. Twins Nike RBI, second straight year for them, 2-2 record. Gary, unfortunately, 0-4, but they have to be pleased with how the way they fought in this game. I mean, they scored 7 unanswered runs, made it 15-8. They put a lot of pressure on this Twins pitching staff, and unfortunately just couldn't come through in the end of it. That's going to do it for us here. Day 2 is in the books. Pool play is over for the 2024 MLB Nike RBI Central Regional Tournament. It flew by.
Definitely
it really flew by. Well, thank you so much for watching with us the last couple days here at Curtis Granderson Stadium. Tomorrow we have 2 more baseball games for you. The Junior Baseball Championship game and the Senior Baseball Championship game. Stay tuned to our social media for first pitch and information on how to watch live. For my partner James Winken and our entire Windy City Sports Network team, I'm Kevin Malater saying so long from Curtis Granderson Stadium. You've been watching a presentation of the 2024 MLB Nike RBI Central Regional Tournament on the Windy City Sports Network.